No, I told them I had full faith in them. We got a lot of reps last year of dropping back and, trust those guys. And I think they're great players and they've stepped up. Like I said pregame, I think they've stepped up all year. Anybody who's been thrown in the fire and just proud of them for working hard and learning this offense and staying on the same page and being on the same page all night and doing a great job tonight.
We're proud too, Drake. 10 in a row. How about last night? All three phases. Drake himself dropping dimes offensively. On defense, they were trying to decapitate the Giants, knocking heads into the ground. I couldn't believe what I was watching. How about Marcus Jones? Touchdown city on special teams. Special teams was so good, the Giants kicker made himself miss. He blocked himself with a stanky leg. The Patriots are so back, ladies. Luce?
You know who else is back? Nat Gordon of the Play Tessie podcast will be back to talk about the Red Sox and any lingering questions, that there are a lot of them, ahead of next season for the Red Sox, Kasey.
That is true. And then at least none of those happen. All right, from the gridiron to Gordo to a preview of the Bruins round 2 versus the Red Wings, Boston. It is time to enter the chat. Protect your lead. To compare me to Ramondre.
I know. Yelling Ramondre was wild right there. I'd like to apologize to Kasey and her entire family.
And my dignity.
Yep. Tweets. Drizzy Maye tweets, playoff football is back in Pat's Nation. Caps lock, so you know we mean business. KJ tweets, I love this team. Go Pats. We're with you, KJ, as we welcome you in to Boston has entered the chat. Here inside our Salem 5 studios. How about those standings? Anyone? I mean, do I got to point it out for you? Anyone? Is this thing on? Hello, are we live? Look at this! The Patriots back where they belong, atop the perch in the AFC. The road to the Super Bowl has to come through Gillette, baby. That's what we're talking about. Travis Thomas here, the Kasey Hudson in the house. Lucy Burdge in the house. How about them Patriots beat down City last night, 33-15, and it felt like 100-0.
I'm glad the path is going through New England and not my hands, because that would be very untrustworthy.
That was on me. That was my fault. I was.
You double clutched.
I didn't want to be that friend that was like, did you guys see how Lucy set me up there?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I got duped a little bit.
I was a bad friend.
Okay.
And just like literally just like dropping the ball.
Okay.
Where I didn't release the ball. I held on to it.
I appreciate
I was
that.
doing my impression of the Giants, you
There
guys.
you
That
go.
was like a bit I was doing.
That was
okay?
good.
So
I
That was
get
good.
it. I get it. You just didn't make me
applaud.
privy to it.
That was good.
My dignity was on the line there. No, it was
sorry.
fantastic. You are forgiven. It was a great win to watch.
It was.
Because you said it there. Like, to see all three phases kind of executed there, I'm insulting them, executed there, is brilliant. And I'll start with one of the phases that I was most excited about being on the offensive side. It was the tight end love for me.
Hunter Henry.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like whenever things started to slow down with opening things up in the middle, Hunter Henry right there. Like, that connection that gave Patriots fans hope last season in a very, very tough season to watch. Like, you saw that connection come back to life and then some, put some kerosene on it. So I loved that aspect of the game, just knowing that like that tandem can come in clutch, and just who doesn't love a bomb pass from Drake Maye?
I mean, for reference, Drake Maye, 24-31, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Hunter Henry.
200 passing yards before halftime, or
That's
at
right.
halftime.
That's
for
right.
Crying out loud.
To your point, Hunter Henry, 4 grabs, 73 yards, didn't find the end zone. But one thing about Drake, I mean, he hit 1, 2, 3, 4. He hit 8 different
guys.
I mean, Drake's spreading that love. You get open, he will find you loose.
Yeah.
This kid now, Drake Maye, I know you're going to talk about this later. He's back atop the MVP odds board as the favorite.
He sure is, and deservedly so. He's doing all of this, and the Patriots are doing all of this, and he hasn't even reached 300 yards in a game yet.
Wow.
Crazy.
It's unbelievable. He doesn't even need to do that, but because the ground game is what it is. But yeah, this win is one of those where you start to think everything is going right for the Patriots.
Yes.
Everything is going just slightly from Koo doing what he did to little things along the way this season. You look at what other teams are doing, where no one has as many wins as the Patriots in the AFC. So you start thinking, perhaps, is this a Super Bowl bound team? Because it's not crazy at all to say that. So, and they're up at the top in the top 6 or 7 of Super Bowl odds.
Yes.
So it's really not crazy to think the Patriots are all the way back in the sense that they can make it to the Super Bowl, perhaps win it.
Look, we've been in the game a while, us three. We've all seen championship teams. We've all watched shows where you go back and you look at, you know, kind of the journey along the way for a Super Bowl champ. And it says in week 7, so-and-so went down. And it's all dramatic, right?
Yep.
This feels that way with this team, to your point, Lucy. Every ball's kind of bouncing their way, including the schedule, by the way, right? Last place schedule, they're playing it. But you have to give them credit for beating the team. I mean, look, they've won 10 in a row, people. The results are right in your face. 11-2, top of the AFC. Things are just going their way. And we see this all the time in these Super Bowl stories with teams. Dare I say it, Patriots right now feel like a team of destiny.
Yeah, I'd say so, and for a number of reasons. For one, the leadership caliber in a Drake Maye speaks for itself. And you mentioned the 8 different guys that he was able to rely on. Some of these Super Bowl contending teams that we talk about, you never can always predict who the targets are going to be. What makes them such an elite team is the quarterback being able to make efficient plays happen with whomever. It's the element of surprise that tends to come in. And quite honestly, over the past couple of seasons, how many times have we looked at the Chiefs and been like, their entire roster is banged up. How the heck are they even going to compete? And then it's like, oh, by the way, Patrick Mahomes is going to make something happen and find a connection with somebody. We're seeing some of that synergy here, whether you want to buy into the hype or not, for one. For two, let's talk about the fact that those numbers that you said earlier were in light of Drake Maye being sacked 3 times. You're talking about mild protection that is now cut down to very limited, if any, protection because of injuries. So being able to kind of overturn that obstacle of losing one of your best guys on the line and still having the capability and leadership in Drake Maye speaks for the path of destiny that this team is capable of.
Luce, possible MVP in Drake Maye. Feels definite to me, Coach of the Year and Mike Vrabel. Number 1 seed. We'll see if it sticks in the AFC, but it certainly feels like it to me. This is a team of destiny.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that because Drake Maye, as you said, MVP favorite in the odds. The odds don't lie. And he's got the MVP chance, which he's definitely hearing. Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel, start those chants.
I think it's locked up.
I think
go there and start them?
Yeah, we should. We should do it. Coach of the Year.
It doesn't, we need
it doesn't roll.
How do we it's got to shorten it, don't we?
Point across, C-O-T-Y.
No.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah,
we'll workshop it.
Well, okay, you also have, just to mention Marcus Jones and his punt return touchdown. Everyone is contributing on this team.
And he has all year in big moments, by the way. 617-790-0928. Get in here, would you? We want to talk about your football team kicking everyone's arse in the league. Where are you? Call us. Wake up and get that crust out your eye and call us. Let's hear from Drake Maye after this big win last night.
How much did you and the team just kind of feed off the energy? You guys came out with a lot of energy, too. Where did that come from, and what was that like to watch all 3 faces kind of take it to them from the start?
I think it started with Coach saying no naps. You know, we want to come out here and start fast. And we knew this team has been up in a lot of games, and they got good players over there. They have some good talent, and we wanted to try to get on them fast. And Marcus helped us with that. What a return for him, and the kickoff coverage. I think just all phases of the game showed up at different points, and I still think offensively in the second half we got to put some more drives together to put the game out of reach.
Hey, Drake. Backups today at left tackle and left guard. What was the key for you guys on offense to kind of minimize that impact, I guess?
No, I told them I had full faith in them. We got a lot of reps last year of dropping back and trust those guys, and I think they're great players, and they've stepped up. Like I said pregame, I think they've stepped up all year. Anybody who's been thrown in the fire, and just proud of them for working hard and learning this offense, and staying on the same page and being on the same page all night, and doing a great job tonight.
You kind of backboning 10 straight wins.
Shoot, I wish it was all me. There's a lot of people in this locker room, this organization that play a big role in us winning games, and just like you showing up every day and making fun of y'all for being in the locker room on a Friday, asking us questions after practice. These guys do the same thing. They show up every day, and they want to get better. And I think I was proud of the guys from this team we have, and I love being around them.
Drake, I swear, you look 12, but you play like a grown man, though. Sadon Rafaela, enjoy your tweets. Drake Maye has legitimately saved my life.
Yeah.
Same.
I feel that.
Yep.
Same.
Yep. Same. Feel that.
Sam tweets, Drake Maye for MVP. Luce, you love this nickname.
I sure do, because he is him. Somebody last night had I think it was a poster or a shirt that said Drake better than Cam Newton May.
Oh my God. Shots fired.
I know, that one's gonna hurt, obviously.
Well, you're gonna need an MVP because Cam got one of those, check, and you're gonna need a Super Bowl win because Cam couldn't deliver one of those. Possibly check.
More shots fired.
Cruise into both of those because the odds are saying that it's potentially possible, very possible, that one of those is easily checked off.
So what? So he's a leader. He's now the favorite.
Leader of the pack in MVP, -135. Drake Maye, MVP of the National Football League. Behind him is Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, he had a bad game.
He did, but this is Drake. It's just incredible. Then Dak Prescott.
Then Dak. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we all feel like Vrabel has it wrapped up for Coach of the Year. Listen, this team, and by the way, I think about this in college football a lot. So a lot of times with the Heisman, you have Heisman moments. So whoever your Heisman favorite is, they get a big game on the road against their rival, throw for 3 touchdowns, and you're like, yep, they just wrapped it up. There's a Heisman. I think about that with Drake Maye because as we look at this board, I mean, you got to go against Josh Allen.
Right.
All these are playoff teams or fighting for it. You still go against Lamar and these guys in the Ravens. You still have to, I know they're at the bottom of the board here, you still have to play the Chiefs as well. Or not the Chiefs, they have Buffalo, they have Lamar, and who am I missing? Am I missing somebody? Or is that it? I feel like there was another test for him. So they have Bills, they have the Ravens, and I thought there was another hard team that they're playing left on the. Does anyone have the schedule?
When you look
left
at
on the schedule. But listen,
these...
you're going to see those two players, and I get it. You could say, well, the Ravens may not make it, Trav. You could be right. The Bills, we believe the Bills will be there, but you're going to play them again and have a chance to sweep the Bills and Josh Allen, who's another MVP candidate. So Drake has an opportunity to sort of have these, I'm calling them Heisman moments, but these MVP moments against these big-name quarterbacks.
Yeah, your final 4 games are against the Bills, the Ravens, the Jets, and close out versus the Dolphins.
So it's just those two. Yeah. So you have those 2 games. I mean, look, Ravens and Bills, you're going against 2 guys who are also vying for MVPs. I don't think Lamar's in it now after his bad game as well, but we know Josh is always there in the reigning MVP. So you have 2 more tests. I thought it was 3. You have 2 more tests now to go out and take that MVP.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. Yeah. Like, I think that the Bills look beatable, and Josh Allen does not look like he is unbeatable right now. They don't look like they're this upper echelon team, and the Patriots, I think, have a massive chance against both those teams.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the Bills' survival has kind of been contingent upon their run game and the multiple matchups that they have had, whereas, like, we didn't have it on the bingo card, but if Drake Maye doesn't have a big game, that's where this team kind of goes back in the wayside a little bit. They're not heavily reliant on the run game as we thought that they would be heading into this season. And it just goes back to my point earlier as to, like, what Drake Maye has done and meant for this team. His ability to just stay so composed and make sure that those big plays take place. I mean, how many big timely throws have we seen out of Drake Maye to make sure that this team secures a W?
Yes.
The 10 wins for 1 for 2. You know that this is a guy who consistently wants to get better, and the next area for this team to sharpen up is just red zone. You can't go 1 for 5, especially if you're going against a much better team over the Giants, but they're fully aware of this, and he's not reliant on any other factor other than doing his part to make sure things happen, and that is an MVP caliber.
I know you love tight ends, but you also love Stephon Diggs.
Big time.
I mean, listen, that's a guy that has been there for Drake time and time again.
Did you see the pregame hype?
Yes, of course. Leadership from Stephon Diggs, no question. Here he is after the big win.
Probably just the balance, you know, the ability to be joyful for your brother. Before the game, we had briefly touched on it, everybody doing their 111th, and I think everybody did that. You know, obviously, there's going to be some things to correct on there, but coming out there with juice, being aggressive. You know, we had a good talk about being aggressive. All plays can be aggressive, you know, even the run plays, the pass plays. Just be aggressive and everybody do their part. So just the balance. A lot of guys making plays.
A lot of chance for MVP for Drake Maye. What's it been like working with him this season?
It's been exciting. As far as like with a young quarterback, and a guy showing a lot of promise, a lot of confidence. You know, coming from a quarterback position and being young, it's obviously something there. But I think the biggest thing is he comes in each and every day. He's the same guy. He approaches the game like a professional. He has a lot of fun. So he's super hard on himself. You can see out there that he wants to make every throw. He wants to make all the good decisions. And just stacking it, it's going to be important. MVP, I think it's probably the furthest thing from his mind. And he's a winner guy, so he's focused on the wins.
Do you think he is the MVP, though? Do you think he has established that in the league and he should be the MVP?
That ain't for me to say. Obviously I'm biased, because he's my quarterback, and I would love for him to win MVP his second year in the league. He's an amazing quarterback, but, that ain't up to us. I think what we're chasing is going to be a little bit more important. But, you continue to play well, it'll fall right in your lap.
617-790-0928. We're talking Pats. Get in here, talk it with us. I mean, look, Case, you called this from the beginning. I was totally wrong on Stephon Diggs. I didn't know if he could stay healthy, A, and I damn sure thought for sure he's not a leader. He has proven both wrong. He's been healthy all year. He's been a fantastic leader. And, Lucy, I have to imagine at this point, is he up for comeback player of the year in terms of odds?
He sure is.
Okay,
Trav. So
I figured.
He is fourth on the list here
Okay.
with plus 4,500 behind Aiden Hutchinson, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak Prescott as the favorite for comeback player of the year. But his leadership and what he has done so far this season, those odds could change very quickly.
I would love to see it. I mean, look, we're great friends, but I love a moment to be like, I told you so. I told you so. I told you from the beginning. This is not a guy that has to come in here and be the guy. He put the spotlight off of himself once he realized that his role was going to have to transform when he was a part of the Texans. And you had so many players in that Texans locker room that said, no, he sits by you at your locker. He talks to you. He sees things on the field that he kind of puts into better verbiage that we couldn't see when we were out there. He just had a different air about him. And when you accept what your role is going to be, especially as you start aging in the league, then you have to contribute in a different way. And I just felt so passionately about what I was hearing from the players, what he was saying himself, him choosing New England for one, because that was a choice, and you're not talking about an injury-prone kind of player or caliber kind of guy. He makes his moments count. If you need a big game from him, we've gotten one of those, but, if you need a 13-yard reception out of him, he can make that happen too. He's reliable, he's accountable, and he's a leader, and he's constantly just speaking to the guys in his locker room, and the connectivity matters, and I don't think Vrabel would have ever picked him up if he thought he was going to be a thorn.
Before we go to break, let's talk bye week, because we haven't gone there. I kind of remember this with Red Sox season. Someone fact-check me on this, because you guys know I spitball everything. But I feel like the Red Sox had a 10-game winning streak going into the All-Star break, and I kind of remember saying on air, man, I wish they kept playing. I was happy to see the break. Everyone needed it. You got to get healthy, right? But it was like they had so much juice, so much momentum. I wanted them to keep playing. I feel the same way here. The Patriots, particularly on the offensive line, need a break, okay? But at the same time, damn, they've won 10 straight. This team's so hot. I want them to keep playing.
I know. They say an object in motion stays in motion and all that scientific stuff. But what I will say, and what I'm hoping translates better in the sense for the Patriots, is like the defense is kind of banged up, if you think about it. You know what I mean? They're not 100%, and they have been impactful. They're coming off of a really popping performance.
Yes, literally.
I feel like the high contact guys are going to want to embrace this break and come back with, fresh bodies to make sure that they come back just as punishing on the other side of the bye week.
Luce, do you want the break or do you want them to keep playing?
I think they're playing their schedule, so they got to play the break, and they'll be better after the break.
It's well said. All right, when we come back, we'll explore what's trending in the world of sports here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Roll with us. Remember, Monday through Friday, we're on Nesson at 8 a.m. Wake up, get yourself a coffee. If you're like me, a nice little mimosa. Maybe a bloody.
On Saturday and Sunday.
And then, every day. And then party with us at 9 a.m. right here on Nesson Nation. Can't stop, won't stop. Boston Has Entered the Chat. We'll be right back.
Welcome back into Boston Has Entered the Chat. We have been basking in the glow of the Patriots' dominant season so far and dominant game last night over the Giants. But now we can take a look at what else is trending around the world of sports, and also close to home, what is trending is Celtics-Knicks tonight. We cannot forget that there are other teams in the city, of course, and they're all very good right now. The Celtics are what they are, but they will be facing the Knicks.
Bless their heart.
It is what it is, but they are playing the Knicks tonight, and they, according to the odds,
I love how gentle
it was so gentle.
It was so gentle.
And the Celtics, well.
I mean, they're above 500.
Yeah.
At least there's that. But the odds for them to win tonight are pretty even with the Knicks.
Yep.
So maybe there's a chance that they get the W tonight.
I think it's coming off of the Cavs win. I said this on record. I think that was the best win of the season. I know many people think the Pistons, because the Pistons are top in the East.
I think it's just because they broke some streak, yeah?
Well, they did break their win streak, but also watching that game, at the end of the game, the Pistons puked all over themselves. They lost that game, and the Celtics survived.
What a picture.
I know, that was graphic. I apologize. The Cavs, that was a complete team win. Pritchard went off. Jaylen Brown was not shooting the ball well, decided, you know what, I'm going to help my guys in other ways.
Facilitate.
He messed around, got a triple-double that night. So I think that's right. So I think coming off that Cavs win is reflected there in the price. Plus, the last time these two played was in MSG. Celtics, that was a competitive game. They lost by like 10. They hung in there. I think tonight being at home is a difference, and coming off that Cavs win, I like the Celtics tonight. That's why I combined Celtics money line, Bruins money line for a Boston sports parlay tonight. Let's get paid, baby.
See, I love that.
Terrifies me.
You don't like it as much, Kasey.
I thought it was gonna be a 1, 2, 3. Lucy and I were in sync, but that's not what happened. It's the hockey superstition getting to me. Whatever you may say,
Facts.
I will say this: Derek White versus the Knicks is just kind of like poetic in a sense. So I like player props. So if I was gonna lean in any sort of direction, I'm just gonna kind of look to him to be that guy yet again.
I like that very much.
I like it.
If you want to take the Celtics to cover the spread, which is only 1.5 plus 1.5, I like that because as the underdog against the spread, they are 5-4. So that looks good as well. Another thing that we have is, well, the Red Sox are also questions surrounding them and Alex Bregman. And Alan in Arizona called in, left us a voicemail about how he feels about Alex Bregman.
Hey, good morning, guys. Alan from Lawrence, now in Arizona. Okay, so the Red Sox, I'm going to reiterate. I think what they're doing is they're waiting for, to figure out what they're going to do with some of these other players that maybe trying to move somebody like a outfielder or Cassis to see what's going on. I think they're going to add, I don't know why you guys are so crazy about Bregman. Bregman is who he showed he was last year. Okay, he hasn't been a great player for quite a number of years. Right? When he's healthy, he's fine, but he's not healthy. He can't stay healthy. I'm just going to say that again. I don't know why you guys think Bregman's such a great idea, but he's not. All right? And I will say this. If he doesn't sign with the Red Sox, I think it's going to be a good move for the Red Sox that he just moves on. Let them find somebody else. And Jordan Hudson suddenly has Bill Belichick resting face, so they're a perfect fit. Have a wonderful day.
Why am I hearing something so crazy?
I know. I didn't hear it. Now I hear it.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay, so he's connecting Alex Bregman and Jordan Hudson, which is, I think that's, Alan, you did just a pro connecting those two, because those are obviously two of my favorite things, and I could never connect them as well as he, because I don't know what the connection was.
He connected them dots.
Resting Bregman face? I don't know why. Which is a smile, I think. He's a happy guy, Alex Bregman, so I don't know.
Actually, Breggs has a really scary smile, but I will say.
Scary? Like, what do you mean? Like psycho scary?
Like, he's got one of those smiles that you think something crazy is going to happen.
Like the Joker.
Yeah, you never know what he's going to do next.
Yeah, it's a menacing smile.
It's a menacing smile.
Yeah, but regardless, rather see it, and I rather it stick around Boston because, Alan, while we love you here so very much,
yeah, we do.
False. You saw how much Bregman impacted this clubhouse, not just because of his leadership, but also he was he was super clutch before he got injured, I feel like he almost kind of rushed himself back to be a part of this team to help out. You didn't see him kind of have his full strides, his full burst, any of that. But regardless, you almost have a coach in the locker room in a player position, which is extremely impactful.
I just think we shouldn't get so caught up on production and ignore leadership. The last time we did that, we got a guy shipped out of here named Rafi Devers, remember?
Yes.
It's not always about the production, Alan. This guy's a leader, and when he's healthy, he showed you what he can do. The best thing the Sox can do is put some depth around him so he can get some rest days every now and again, and then he's not hurt.
Yeah, I don't know did Allen forget that he was voted into the All-Star?
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Like, I don't know, Allen. And another thing I find very funny is when callers say, oh, I'm from Lawrence, but now I'm in Arizona. He could be in Lawrence right now. We wouldn't know. Like, we don't know if you're in Arizona. Like, you could just say, I'm from Lawrence. You know what, Allen, we love you. I just find it funny.
I love Allen,
it's
man.
Great. And I hope Arizona's really warmer than here right now. But yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's
No, I'm done with the heat.
warm.
I am done with the heat. What I will say, what I will appreciate of Allen is the last time anybody kind of had this kind of angle, it was in regards to, Trevor Story, who just completely went ham this season.
Right.
So, you know what?
That's a good point.
I'll take the little manifestation.
Good point.
Yes,
and no heat.
Exactly, no heat. We will see what Nat Gordon thinks of this, he always brings the heat, by the way. Nat Gordon of the Play Tessie podcast. We will talk to him next about Alex Bregman and other questions surrounding the Red Sox this offseason. Stay right here for Boston has entered the chat.
Back at it live from the Salem 5 studio. Welcome into Boston has entered the chat. And as promised, Nat Gordon joins us here to break down all things Red Sox. But first, the tweet on your screen from Gordo himself. Craig Breslow proclaimed this month that the Red Sox were all set on starting pitchers 3 through 10. Do they see Sonny Gray as a number 2? ? Well, Brad coming in hot here. There are absolutely some in the Red Sox front office who believe what Gray represents is exactly what Breslow was talking about. ... Some in those offices would even say 2025 Gray isn't that far off from 2025 Joe Ryan.
Say what?
What?
Oh, no.
I tried to make that as dramatic as possible, but you know what? Yeah, what a weak drum. Nat, good morning.
Morning, guys.
And of course, we had to bring you into the chaos. Love the residential Tuesday appearance from you, but we got to start with the tweet, my guy. What does this mean exactly? Because I know that when the signing happened, there was kind of a divide between excitement and, whoa, is this really a number 2 option? What say you?
Yeah, you're exactly right. There was a divide amongst the fans because the Red Sox get a good pitcher. You want to be excited because they got a good pitcher. They made the team better. They're better than they were the day before. But then there's that other side that says, do they see this guy as the number 2? And certainly, based on what they're saying, they do. Now, is that a leverage play or is that the truth? We don't know. But the Red Sox are certainly telling people that they think Sonny Gray is going to be that guy. And it's up to the fans to decide whether they agree. And so far, I think that most probably would say he's a number 3 on a good playoff team as opposed to a number 2.
What do you say, Gordo? Do you see him as a 2?
I see him as a number 3 on a playoff team. That doesn't mean he's not a good pitcher.
Okay.
Like, he is a good pitcher, and he has performed in the playoffs, and he can win you playoff games. But to me, this is a guy entering his age 36 season. He had an ERA over 4 last year. I understand the stuff under the hood says that maybe he could be a little bit better at Fenway Park and switch some things up with his fastball. I get it. But when Craig Breslow, you guys pulled up the tweet right there. When Craig Breslow says we're all set with starting pitchers number 3 through 10 and we're looking for a number 2, you're looking for a guy as a fan. You're looking for them to get a guy who's a co-ace with Crochet. You're looking for a guy who was that guy last year, not a guy that, if we do a couple of things here and there, can become that guy. So, yeah, to me, it was a little bit underwhelming, and I'm holding out hope that maybe they're just holding out for leverage here and another move is coming. But I'm trying not to get my hopes up just based off of all the reports.
Yeah, so Gordo, this sounds a lot like off seasons in the past where the expectations are set very high at the beginning, full throttle, and then slowly they wane as they make a move like Sonny Gray, and they're like, oh yeah, actually that's what we were looking for, we're set, because they can't or they're not willing to spend on somebody else. So they settle for this and say that's what we were looking for in the first place. Is this the last pitching move or only pitching move they are going to make this offseason, or are they not done when it comes to pitching? Are they still seeking that number 2? Will they get a number 2, do you think?
I think they'll keep their eyes open. The word that's being used is opportunistic. I think they will be if the right move comes around, but I don't think they have to. Like this team right now, if you basically look at it as Sonny Gray in, Lucas Giolito out, this is the rotation that got you to the playoffs last year, except you'll have a bunch of healthy 4s and 5s, which you didn't have last year. So if they don't add another pitcher, they could probably still get to the playoffs or get to the trade deadline and maybe make a move for a better arm there. So it's not like all hope is lost if they enter opening day with this as the rotation. But again, I mean, it would be underwhelming just based off of how you put it, the expectation going in. And you're right. In the off seasons past, we go in with these sky high expectations, and then it's like, oh, well, actually, they may not spend that kind of money. They'll get this guy, but maybe not that guy. Now, next up is the offensive side of the ball. But yeah, I pitching wise, I hope that it's not the rotation they enter the postseason with. But as for entering the regular season, I think there is a good chance that this is the rotation that they enter with.
Gordo, I agree with you that it's very similar to last season with Giolito. The only difference, I would say, Giolito was fantastic during the regular season, but he broke down.
Yeah.
He didn't get you anything in the playoffs. Sonny Gray, say what you want about ability, but he is availability. Is that a word? Availability.
He's available.
Yeah, thanks. He's healthy.
He's available.
He's healthy.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to the postseason, in theory, knock on wood, he's available to you. So I see what you're saying, but I do think it's a slight upgrade in that. What I want to ask you is about Alex Bregman, because I am so tired of sitting here and defending him every day. I cannot believe the amount of tweets and phone calls we get here. 617-790-0928. Call me, get in here. But people call all the time or they tweet at us and they say, don't pay him, let him walk. He gets hurt. He's overrated. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here, this guy's an all-star and a leader. Gordo, I want to play you a voicemail we got earlier. Family to the program. Alan out in Arizona, he's from Lawrence. Listen to this phone call. We get this all the time, Gordo. I want you to react on the other side. Take a listen.
Hey, good morning, guys. Alan from Lawrence, now in Arizona. Okay, so the Red Sox, I'm going to reiterate. I think what they're doing is they're waiting for, to figure out what they're going to do with some of these other players that maybe trying to move somebody like a outfielder or Cassis to see what's going on. I think they're going to add. I don't know why you guys are so crazy about Bregman. Bregman is who he showed he was last year. Okay, he hasn't been a great player for quite a number of years. Right? When he's healthy, he's fine, but he's not healthy. He can't stay healthy. I'm just going to say that again. I don't know why you guys think Bregman's such a great idea, but he's not. All right? And I will say this. If he doesn't sign with the Red Sox, I think it's going to be a good move for the Red Sox that he just moves on, let them find somebody else. And Jordan Hudson suddenly has Bill Belichick resting face, so they're a perfect fit. Have a wonderful day.
I think I know what you heard before. Now I'm with you. Gordo, lots to unpack in that phone call. Please tell me you agree with us and not Alan. Alan, you know we love you. Gordo, where are you on Alex Bregman?
Yeah, Alan hates Alex Bregman. I think Alex Bregman he's a valuable piece, man. You can't understate it. It goes beyond the production on the field, but even if you want to just look at the production on the field, look what he did before the injury. I mean, this is a guy who he missed about a month and change before the All-Star break and was still voted by his peers to be an All-Star because of how good he was. And obviously his peers recognize the value he brings off the field as well. But this is a guy who was the best hitter on the Red Sox before he got hurt. And obviously it was underwhelming when he got back. But you'd hope that he enters the 2026 season fully healthy. Can he stay healthy? It remains to be seen at this point in his career. Like, he's going to have to prove that he can do that. But what he has proven is that when he's healthy, he is still that caliber of player. And then you go beyond that, all the value he brings off the field. You ask anyone on that team, anyone who had a good year last year, and they will attribute at least some of that to Alex Bregman. And that goes on both the offensive side of the ball and the pitching. There were tons of times where guys would talk to Alex Bregman, starting pitchers would talk to Alex Bregman, and he would help them prevent pitch tipping. And it's crazy that's coming from your third baseman, but it's kind of that Dustin Pedroia-esque off the field value that he brings that really it's hard because you can't see it on the baseball reference page, but it brings so much value to the team. You wonder why the Red Sox got so much better last year and made the postseason for the first time in years. He was a huge part of that. So yeah, letting that go, sure, you could bring in a Pete Alonso, but in the end, you're getting more home runs, but you are losing a lot that Alex Bregman brings.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fair to Pete Alonso to say he's not a leader either, because, you know, they blamed him for all the world's problems there with the Mets, and he was the least of their issues. But I've seen Bregman lead teams. He did it in Houston. He's doing it here. I don't think you get that with Alonso.
And you heard how his previous team felt losing him.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're still not over it. They haven't been right since. 617-790-0928. Alan, you know we love you. Call us earlier in the show so we can get you on earlier. I have one more Bregman follow-up here, and it's kind of something that Alan said and other people are knocking Bregman for, which is the health aspect. Ooh. Gordo, walk me through, because this is a take I had, but walk me through how this is possible. So I said one of the ways you could keep him healthy is by bringing in depth this offseason. Give the guy a couple days off here and there when he's healthy, okay? Almost kind of like load management in the NBA in a way, right? So walk me through how the Sox can do that. Do you see that as a possibility of spelling him from time to time to sort of keep him healthy? Do you even think that's a good game plan from the Sox as it pertains to Alex Bregman?
Definitely, if you can. Like, you go back to 2018, Alex Cora was given their best players days off, Mookie Betts. These guys got days off all throughout the year. But in the last half decade or so, they've had to play to get into the postseason, and they've needed these guys every single day to maximize their chances of winning that day. So if you bring a better team to the field starting in April, and this team can build a lead and get into first place and have a 5-6 game lead on the division, then you can afford to give your veterans days off just, for preventative maintenance. But in the positions that they've been in, again, like, we were thrilled to see them make the playoffs last year. I loved it. But if you gave those guys days off throughout the year, you put yourself in a position where maybe you don't get to the playoffs. So the position they've been in is get there and then see where you go from there. I want to see them bring a team to the field that is going to be there. And it's about, let's get these guys ready for when they get there, because we know they're going to get there.
Alongside prevention, too, I mean, let's look back to the fact that he was such a clutch player and then goes out on injury. And then when he came back, he didn't look the same. You saw a lot of hesitation in him trying to, have burstful movements and all of these other things. So to your point with depth and being able to have a team that can help prevent any sort of injury or protect him if that happens, I think that's going to be important. Now, all the hate aside for just a second, let's say Bregman's locked in. We've got him. He remains a Red Sox. And let's also play devil's advocate that Alonso and Schwarber go off the table here. Who's the next guy in the mix? Because with the Sonny Gray signing, I feel like we all need to brace ourselves for a little bit of unpredictability. And Lou Merloni always tells us, don't ride the emotional roller coaster. I'm kind of on it a little bit. But who else is in the mix if you secure Bregman, but you don't get an Alonso or a Schwarber?
The name that's been connected to the Sox a few times recently is Jorge Polanco from Seattle. Yeah. Not a name that a ton of people recognize, but this is a guy who switch hitter, hit 26 home runs last year, was one of the clutchest hitters in Major League Baseball. He's not going to be Pete Alonso, Kyle Schwarber, so it's not going to be that level of addition. It would definitely fall into the tier of a secondary addition, but you talk about comparing him to what you had last year, it would kind of be like the Sonny Gray versus what you had before. It's definitely an improvement. Is it what you were hoping for entering the offseason? Maybe not quite to that level, but he is a really good player. He's a really good hitter. So he would provide some depth to the Red Sox lineup, provide some power. He slashed his strikeout numbers practically in half last year. It was really impressive to see what he did out in Seattle, and he really hit for them in the playoffs. So that's a guy who a few different media outlets have connected to the Red Sox in the last couple of weeks. So I'm keeping my eye on him if a couple of these guys go off the board.
Yeah, Lou Merloni famously does not show emotion about things, ever. When it comes to other positions like catcher, perhaps, would JT Realmuto be someone the Red Sox would be interested in if they are in the market for a catcher?
That was weird, right? Like, you got really good production from Carlos Narvaez last year. I know everyone got on Connor Wong. He had a really tough year, but playing with a broken bone in his hand and played good defense. And yeah, he didn't hit a home run, but you hope that with the injury, he got the surgery. Hopefully he'd be better next year. It was weird to see them connected to JT Realmuto. It seems that I guess they're in the market for a catcher there. Maybe they like Realmuto because maybe he can fill in at first base, potentially platoon with Tristan Casas if they don't get a Pete Alonso, and you have to move forward with those options at first. So you could make the argument, but it really feels like a stretch, right? Like I don't see why this team needs to be spending, over 10, 12, 13 million dollars a year on a catcher right now, but the reports are there, and John Heyman connected them as well. So we'll see what happens. I think it's a weird fit to me.
Yeah, another one from me, Gordo, just going back to pitching for a moment. Dylan Cease just signed a massive deal with the Blue Jays, and I couldn't help but wonder, were the Red Sox ever interested in Dylan Cease? Or why not? Or could they just not match it money-wise? Like, was there ever any interest from the Red Sox in Dylan Cease?
Well, Cease is a guy that the Sox they've been barking up that tree for the last couple of years when he was on the trade market. So it was only natural to think that they would be interested come free agency. I'm sure there were certainly conversations, but I don't think it's a coincidence to see them trade for Sonny Gray right before Dylan Cease signs that deal, almost as if, we're talking to Dylan Cease and, his market's just getting that price is getting way too high. A team's going to give him over $200 million. All right, like we'll go and trade for Sonny Gray because clearly this is getting out of our comfort zone here. So it was a high price, but I like Dylan Cease. I know the Red Sox like Dylan Cease. It would have been a guy I would have liked to see them get, but at that price, it was a pretty high price.
Nat, I think some of this too, it was the Blue Jays. Okay, like if Cease stays in the NL or he goes to any other damn AL team not in this division. Maybe the Sox still trade for Sonny Gray, to your point, but maybe there's not that urgency. Don't you think, Big Swole, some of this is the Blue Jays acquiring him? It's like, we got to do something. It's an arms race in this division, my friend, is it not?
Well, let's hope it is, because the Blue Jays are far from done, right? So they've got a couple more big ones up their sleeve. Like, we'll see whether it's Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette. Who knows? Maybe both. Like, you can't stop these guys from spending money. It's crazy. So if the Red Sox want to match them move for move, even if it's not up to the tier of a Kyle Tucker, be my guest, man. They'll go into the year with a great team.
Hey, Gordo, we watched them in the World Series, and we watched the run. They were close. They had the Dodgers on the ropes, so they should be spending the money. The Red Sox were close, too. They just fell apart at the seams health-wise. Yeah. But you're close, so go spend the money to get you over the hump.
Well,
yeah, there really is no reason the Red Sox, it's still in the palm of their hand. Like, they can be the AL favorites if they make the right moves for the rest of the offseason. It remains to be seen if they're going to do it, but it is in the realm of possibility that this team could enter the year as American League favorites if they do all of the things that we've been talking about all winter long.
Yep.
I think we're all on board for it, and hopes are still high. I will say that. We've got quite the offseason to go here. As you guys know, make sure you catch Nat Gordon with us here on Boston's End of the Chat every single Tuesday. Nat, per usual, thank you for joining us. We're going to a break here on Boston's End of the Chat, but when we get back, it's time to get into the nitty-gritty of what the Bruins can do to beat the Red Wings yet again, this time in Detroit. For all of your sporting favorites, make sure you join us here on Boston's End of the Chat Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. on NESN, 9 a.m. on NESN Nation. Don't go anywhere. Back at it with the Bruins on the other side.
Oh, yeah, Bruins game day, baby. And looky. The NHL tweeted this. These are your goal leaders through, right now. Oh, wait. Is that Morgan Geekie? Michael tweets, does that say Morgan Geekie? It definitely does, Michael. Us too, bruh. Us too. So how about that? The Geekster at the top of the league, Case.
The man.
That's unbelievable. Adam Kaufman was talking yesterday. He's on pace for 60 goals, Casey.
Isn't it wild?
This is unreal.
I like a moment where I get to, apologize. And look, not for a lack of faith in Morgan Geekie, because the faith has always been there, but I wasn't thinking 50 goals.
No.
I was thinking maybe dancing amongst 35 goals.
What he did last
40,
year, yeah.
Exactly. I didn't want to put the ceiling too high, but look, I will eat crow on this one because goodness.
My gosh.
He's unstoppable.
Yeah.
He is unstoppable. And I talked about it yesterday on the Hockey Hub with Sophia. I think what you love to see in a player like this is everything that they mentioned that they worked on in the offseason, just starting to translate so effortlessly throughout the season. That is something that I feel like is very poetic, and I feel like we don't even know Morgan Geekie's ceiling.
I feel as though we talked about in the offseason the contract that he got.
Right.
6 years, $33 million, somewhere in there. And now looking at the contract, because remember at the time, a lot of people were like, is he worth this? Is it sustainable? And that's where you said, yeah, I think it's sustainable what he's done now. Now he's exceeding the expectations.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, Lucy, this contract this guy signed, it looks like a bargain now.
Yeah, and he has 6 goals in his last 5 games. So it's not like he has spurts of like, 3 goals in a game here and there. He's consistent.
Yes.
Which is very important.
You know what else is consistent? Picking up 2 goals in a game like it is absolutely nothing. I mean, like, that's the part that he's making look so simple, and the reliability there is insane. And a lot of it is in contribution to the fact that the guy is the heaviest shot in the NHL right now. Like, it's just brutal, but it's so fantastic to watch. And I love that now we're talking about him in a category of caliber of players as like the Austin Matthews.
Yes.
Because you're talking about players that when you're locking in on how to mark them or how to kind of minimize their contribution in a game, the biggest thing that they're talked about is being factors that can score in any position, anywhere on the ice. Morgan Geekie can score anywhere. He's showing that. He can get into the nitty-gritty, how to tip in goal, or he can rip it from mid-range, make sure that it gets through, or take the long-range shot. You don't know what Morgan Geekie's going to do, and that's what makes it even more exciting.
Wow, that's incredible. 617-790-0928. Okay, so here we go. Red Wings again. This time in 8 Mile. I mean, it was a exhilarating finish the last time these two played, right? What can we expect tonight in this game?
Oh,
Revenge.
More fireworks?
Yeah, revenge from the Red Wings. No, I think that you're right, fireworks, because the Red Wings will be looking for revenge, perhaps. So that narrative there, which, makes you think, oh, are they going to win the game? But no, because Bruins money line being in the parlay.
Hello.
It's really just important that the Bruins.
Are you hopping on board with something here?
I am. I'm hopping on board with the parlay because I think it's
just a review. Just a review. Celtics money line -110. You're welcome. Bruins money line +170. Put them together like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It pays out 4-1.
Yeah,
if anyone's interested.
I hope you guys get this right this time. No, but I agree. I agree with Lucy. This is a revenge moment for the Red Wings, or at least an attempt, and to do so in your own home barn, the energy is just so much higher. But here's the thing. I know Mo Seider is going to be looking to make sure that he gets a knock or two back on Kastelik, but he's got a different focus he has to go into this game with, because you're talking about one of the highest production shooters for the Red Wings, who was kind of held down to only 2 shots on goal, and some of that lack of productivity with getting shots on goal hurt the Red Wings at the end of the day. So he's going to have to figure out where his focus lies. Is it going to be getting even with Kastelik, who, I mean, he looked like he was out for blood with every shot he ripped on Seider, or is it going to be being a contributing factor for this Red Wings team? And you got a couple other guys that were a bit silenced on Saturday. Yeah. They're going to make sure that they're in the mix, but where I feel like the Bees have the edge here is that we're trending in the right direction of having the second line reestablished with one another, that being Middlestat, Zacha, and Arvidsson. Arvidsson led the stretches yesterday, participated in practice. Now you get that second line back. You're talking about the secondary scoring that was called into question before the year even started.
Right.
And you're also talking about a second line that was a massive driving force for this team in a number of highly competitive games. And there was a play that kind of tried to translate out on Saturday where it was Zacha to Middlestat back to Zacha. Zacha put the shot on goal, and they weren't able to control the rebound. Well, that's where Victor Arvidsson comes in hot, because he is a net front presence that they have missed in an instance. So getting that back, I feel like, is just going to raise the competition tonight.
617-790-0928. Call us. We're talking Bees. Here's Coach Marco's thoughts on facing the Red Wings again.
Just the injury stuff. It looks like Arvidsson is good to go.
Yeah, we just have to confirm it after practice. But if he felt good today at practice, he should be in tomorrow, hopefully.
Anything more on David?
David, no, it's still day to day. We were hoping he could skate by now, but he didn't. So that's why we'll see how it is the next few days. But he will not travel.
Okay. What is your ideal identity for your third line? Because it seems like you've been able to play them and trust them against all 4 lines.
Yeah, usually the third line is one of my most important lines, believe it or not. Because I need him for everything, pretty much. I shouldn't be worried about, for me, it's a check-in line. I'm a little bit more old school on that. And I think Fraser and that line can do it both by now. I trust them when they play against the big boys. I trust them in any other situation. So that's what I'm looking forward for a third line. We're still not there yet, but they definitely create their own identity identity a little bit.
Case, lots to unpack there. My takeaways from that is this is Marco's system. And he didn't say next man up. He didn't say that. But that's what I took. It's almost like my system's in place. We trust our young guys. Next man up.
Yeah, but that is why this system facilitates that kind of motto so well, because something else that Marco Sturm has said so much is like knowing your role and attacking your role. And you're going to be asked to do things that are uncomfortable or foreign to you in a number of ways. And I've mentioned it here on this show. Like, I think the buy-in conversation was more so guys trusting something foreign to them rather than like buying into Marco's system. Like, a lot of guys have been required to step up defensively, and they haven't been asked to do that in their typical day-to-day game as they were going through the NHL or now being new to the NHL. So I feel like next man up is definitely usable in his system because everybody has to have kind of similar identities, and a two-way game is important for every single player up and down the lines. And we've seen how it plays out. I mean, a guy who deserves a shout out is Alex Steeves.
Yeah.
And there's a whole conversation around Steeves jumping up to that top line versus Husnudinov, who is now projected to be on that fourth line versus the Red Wings again. But it's just like game by game, he fits the bill of the Marco system.
Yeah.
He has a two-way ability. He's opening up time and space. He's creating turnovers, and then straight off of the turnovers, he's going in for an offensive punch and opportunity. So it's just like you're getting a chance to get more of a complete game, and that's what Marco's extracting out of each player.
Lucy, it's interesting because you and I were joking this morning when we saw each other. We're rolling our eyes. Red Wings again. But I'm looking at the division standings right now as we speak. I mean, the Lightning are hotter than fish grease. They've won 7 in a row. But right behind them are the Bruins. So this is within the division where the Bruins sit right now, this is a big game because you want to keep the Red Wings down where they are and you stay at the top where you belong.
Yeah, and to add, if you want to add something to that parlay, Bruins puck line.
Wait a minute.
It's +1.5 because against the spread, they are 9-4 on the road. So on the road is against the spread very favorable for this team. So that is something to look at too.
I like it.
And the Red Wings have a -13 scoring differential. So there is something there too.
I mean, here's the beauty of Boston has entered the chat. Okay, first of all, you got the best football team in the league. Let's talk about that. Celtics are going to win tonight. Bruins are going to win tonight. We are gambling so heavily. It's not even 9 a.m. yet. I mean, this is a beautiful show here.
I got a good one for you. DeBrincat and Geeky combined for 8 shots on goal +240.
I mean, come on, folks. You can't make this up. Call us 617-790-0928. Best part, the party doesn't stop. Boston has entered the chat, continues on Nessa Nation. Follow us there. We're partying. We're gambling. Woo!